it's me, Auntie Buffie, Miss Crawlbeforeyouball herself. I am going to attempt to get back into this YouTube podcast life. I have been focusing mostly on my TikTok, which has been doing quite well. Instagram is they just blocked me, child. I was shadow banned forever, and then finally they just got shit of me. So they're dead anyway. So we are focusing here. So I recently posted, I was tagged in a post of, I think it's the real Maxwell. He's a big TikToker, and he's also a very successful commercial real estate guy. And apparently he was explaining that he pays himself $500,000 a year W-2 wages. And someone on TikTok they said he was capping, he was lying, as the young people say, and said that most small business owners don't do that. And so I responded because I got tagged in that video so many times with people saying, "Hey, Auntie Buffie, crawl before you ball. Is this true? You actually, have a tax background, blah, blah, blah." And so if you're new to my podcast, if you're new to my YouTube, my background is that for 20 years, I owned a chain of tax practices. I was a licensed tax professional. I was a licensed mortgage broker, which meant that I originated home loans for people and commercial loans. I was a licensed property and casualty and licensed life and health insurance agent, amongst other things. All things financial is what I did in my career. And I retired when I was 41 years old. So I'm uniquely qualified to discuss this matter in particular. This was actually the biggest fight that I'd have every tax season with my small business clients, because this is what happens. You start a business, and then for like 3 years, it's like tough and kind of struggling, and you're not really making much money. But then you start making money, and then you get pissed with your tax accountant because you're having to now owe taxes. And so with my practice, whenever we noticed that our clients were starting to make real bona fide money, and we'd forecast that you're probably going to have a taxable event coming up, we would go ahead and tell them, we need to change your entity structure. Filing a Schedule C is not going to serve you anymore. And really, that threshold for me was always, if you have $50,000 or more in profit, not income, in net income, in profit, not gross revenue, in net income, meaning you made $200,000 and you had $150,000 worth of bona fide business expenses, and the tax for which you had to pay was on $50,000. The point at which that you have at least $50,000 in profit, we need to start talking about whether you need to establish an S corporation, or we need to, do some other type of tax structure to use the tax loopholes that the wealthy use. And so we would catch that. One of the things I don't like in accounting is when people only see their tax practitioner, and I don't mean individuals, folks with businesses. You should not see your tax practitioner only during tax season. You should see them a minimum of 4 times a year on a quarterly basis. So they do 4 mini tax returns. They see where your business is, make sure if you have product sales, you're paying sales tax. Make sure that your business license is renewed. Make sure that your LLC is renewed. Make sure that you have the insurance you're supposed to have. Make sure the business is funded. Make sure you're building business credit. All the things that most small business owners don't know. This is what your accountant or business manager should be doing. And, I'd always get clients who came in. It was very reactionary. It was during tax season. And they'd say, "Well, I'm already in escrow on a house. I'm buying a house." And I'm like, "Who did you call first?" "Well, I rolled by and saw this house, so I called a realtor." Nope. When you're getting ready to buy a property, you should call your accountant first. Then you need to call a loan officer, the people that's going to get the money. Once you know that your taxes are in order and that your financing is in order, that's when you call a real estate agent. They don't need their time wasted looking at commercial properties or residential properties if ain't no there. So don't do it. Plus, then you cause this drama with the accountant and the realtor and the loan officer of when do we schedule the closing? Realtors always trying to schedule a damn closing. And I'm like, how you scheduling the closing? The tax returns ain't signed off on. The loan ain't cleared yet. Anyway, it's a mess. I used to have fights all the time. And I understand that because we all need each other. Back to the question at hand. You should not buy an investment property before you own your own home. I'm going to say that again. What got me in trouble on TikTok, where a lot of people are like, Auntie Buffie, I mean, that's hating. Why all these Airbnbs and people making all this money and blah, 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 blah. It's not hating. It's me looking out for you. Again, I'm Auntie Buffie, so I'm going to keep it real with you and talk to you like you're my niece or nephew. And, you know, if I should give you a clear situation, and this is the one that I gave on TikTok. If you go out there and buy an investment property, say you buy a duplex, because a lot of people were like, well, what about a duplex? You live on one side and rent out. In theory, that's great. You know, that's actually a great investment, something that I recommend to my nephews. The difference with my nephews is they have a trust fund. So if some mess pop off in their investment property, they could call upon their trust fund to pay for it. All I want is for you to be set up for success, not failure. So let's say this, you get a duplex. You got a tenant on one side, you live on the other side. HVAC units go out. Well, they cost $4,000 to $7,000 minimum to replace. If you lived in your own home and the HVAC unit went out and you didn't have the money to replace it, you could be like, well, we're just going to be hot and get some box fans. You could do that when it's your house. But when you are a landlord, you are legally required to make repairs quickly. Nobody's going to wait for you to get your funding up when I'm paying you my rent on time. So the problem comes if you're not funded, if you don't have enough money elsewhere to make sure that you can afford, and that is a dangerous word in my book, Crawl Before You Ball. Y'all know it's a dangerous word. But when you get into investment properties, that's a word you need to know. If you don't have enough money put aside somewhere, or if you don't, and because, you know, I'd rather your money be invested. If you don't have access to cheap debt, put on a credit card, 0% interest for 12 months, whatever, to pay for the necessary repairs and maintain the property. Grass got to be cut regularly. Grass got to be cut regularly, right? If the tenant reports anything wrong in the property, it's got to be fixed immediately. Legally, it has to be fixed, or they will withhold rent and get away with it. And sometimes don't mess around and have no Section 8 tenant, baby. Child, you get kicked out of the program if you don't jump when they say how high. So all I'm saying is don't jump out there. You need to crawl before you ball with investments, just like you do with owning a home, with investing in real estate, in cryptocurrency, investing in investments. Invest in yourself first. And the best way to invest in yourself first is by purchasing your own home. When you purchase your own dwelling, you can get used to maintaining a home. Because I'm just tell you, there's some horror stories of people who have bought investment properties, apartment buildings, no less, with no damn money. As you know, everybody got these loans out here now. As long as you got a pulse, you can get a loan. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna be a boss. Bosses pay bills. Okay. What did Jay-Z say? Everybody want to be a boss till it's time for payrolls due. Bosses pay bills. And so one of the reasons also that it's good for you to own your own home first is you can build some equity up in your house. And so once you build some equity up in your house and you get ready to purchase an investment property, if the roof mess up or there's a, you know, something that's not covered by insurance, or the HVAC unit, or whatever, million things that can go wrong in an investment property, you could, worst case scenario, borrow against your own home, get that money rather cheaply. Well, you used to be able to until now, child. But you would have a resource where you could get some money to make the repairs. Because tenants are not going to want to hear that. They're just not. They're going to say, this is messed up. You need to fix it. It is your legal responsibility to do so. And I just don't like setting people up for failure. And I think that a lot of people are out here listening to these TikTokers no shade to them because I'm a TikToker, but people that are saying, oh, it's easy to do this and that, it's not easy. And really, when you get in real estate, let's say you bought a house and you rent it out, you may make $300 to $400 a month profit after you cover the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, maintenance costs, repairs. You may make $300 or $400 a month. So really, you're talking about making $4,800 a year profit, and that's worth what? So the HVAC go out one time and it's $5,000 to fix it. You already in the negative. And yes, I know people that buy investment properties and for a tax strategy for a loss and all that. We ain't talking about that. I'm talking about everything that glitters ain't gold. And I'm not trying to say you shouldn't get into real estate. I am a big person about that. But I think you need to first start with your own home. All right. So I'm about to go to lunch, but this is my first little trial. I'm going to post this, see how it does on YouTube. You know, I began hate on this damn channel. I don't know why, but I'm just trying to, give you my point of view as your auntie. Okay. As your auntie, darlings. And we'll see how this does. And I will keep posting. And feel free to like, subscribe, do all the stuff y'all do with the people. So that it will incentivize me to continue to post on YouTube. And drop in the comments and let me know what questions you have. Could be finance, could be marriage, could be anything, because it's, coming from an auntie perspective. All right, smooches. Bye.